What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. So excited to be here with you this morning. Happy Monday, the first day of March. Happy to be here with you all. That is my strategy. My strategy is to have a good heart. I fail just like everybody else because I'm a sinner, but I try my hardest to better myself each and every day. That is my strategy, to have a good heart. It works extraordinarily well. I think better than anyone else I see across the internet. I think my analysis has proven to be more accurate, more on point than anyone else across the internet. So try it. Try it. If you don't think that's a strategy, I really highly suggest working on yourself. If you want to be a successful trader and know how to navigate the markets, it's a reflection of yourself. It all starts there. Try it. It works. It really, really works. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm glad that we're here together as we begin this show. It's our first show of March. Over here, we get to look over these pretty colors over here, right on time. We get to look at it's not the stock to flow that I consult, but you can't argue with the model. Whether or not you're using stock to flow X or stock to flow, I don't know. There's multiple models, but the pretty colors, they sure work well, and they're right on time. I love it. Do notice over here, though, the second little dot over here is the stock to flow X multiple. It's the Bitcoin price versus the model value. You can see right now it's lagging by a lot, but it's not. If you go where we are right now, you can see that we're red turning orange. By the way, 1 month from today, right, we might be able to say, listen, I really genuinely believe this is the bear market low. We'll just go to the right over here and be expecting to see that dark print. 15 months to the next halving, that dark print. 15 months to the next halving. Go to the left. That should give us a clear indication of what that bear market low is. Is Bitcoin still cheap? Below this, where it is right now today, I don't even know what it's trading at, $48,000. Michael Saylor, he seemed to think so over here. Michael Chad Saylor picking up an additional 328 Bitcoin, $15 million worth, buying the dip at $45,000, $45,700 per Bitcoin, right now holding 90,859 Bitcoin. Boom. CZ from Binance. When you're selling, someone else is buying. I'm looking forward to having a lot of fun today with you all. Thank you for being here, everyone. And if you're new here, welcome. If you're not, smash that like button. Let's go this morning. Let's get it going over here. So, all right, we got a lot to talk about. We're gonna find the flow. We're gonna let it. What was I doing with the pretty colors? What was I doing? I think we're gonna get. By the way, that I don't know if the model price is off, but we're lagging where we were in previous cycles for this color that we're currently at right now, which is red turning orange, red turning orange, red turning orange. You could see that we're kind of suppressed down over here, where in past cycles it was more along the line over here. I'll call that 50 cents, right? Or I don't know if I should call it 50 cents. I'm using the left axis over here. Yeah, 50 cents or 0.5, I think it is, not 50 cents. So it's lagging. Something's off. We'll see what that means or what that is. Nevertheless, I think we're going to see in the coming months over here, if you look back in the past cycles, Jordan, why would you look back at the past, right? The past is clearly not indicative of the future. I understand that. But when I was way down over here and I was envisioning and seeing this clear, I mean, here we are now. You're going to argue with what is? Fact is fact. What is what is. I think we're going to see some big jumps in the coming months over here. You can see as we get towards orange and past orange over here, we put space between months. Those are some big gains in store coming right up. Glad to be on the ride of the bull of all bulls with all of you. Glad to be on this ride over here. We have Bitcoin this morning trading at $48,124. Ethereum slightly outpacing, up 7.6% to Bitcoin 6.3%, trading at 1530, right? So you see Ethereum starting to outperform Bitcoin, but they're neck and neck. It's a healthy market. I like that. It's a healthy market. But then why is Cardano down? Cardano launching the mainnet today. Let's see what happens. Track it over here. Is it a profit-taking event? Not yet. It's just down 4% versus the US dollar. I would not be, at that point yet calling that profit-taking on the mainnet launch. Let's watch what happens over the next few sessions. That's important. Next few sessions, next few weeks. We'll be watching her because there are a lot of people that are invested in Cardano speculating, and I want to make sure they stay on the right side of this. Whatever happens from here, I don't know. That's the attitude you got to have. I don't know. I'm an observer, right? So that's the attitude we have. So what else are we looking at today, this morning? A couple of things to make note of over here. I was a little worried over the weekend seeing some of the comments on Twitter by certain individuals. So this comment by Pablo made me feel really good. I love how our community remains calm during this pullback. I look around at others who obviously don't follow Jordan's Conquering the Markets, CTM, to see full panic mode. I had no idea people were panicking because they have taken their time to learn and understand, because they have not taken their time to understand the 4-year cycle and the bull run. Thank you, Pablo. I also saw this morning, right as I was preparing for the live stream over here, and I'm looking forward to the show today to confirm my TA on Bitcoin. This is what I've noticed, that everyone who spends time here observing, watching, investing in themselves, their TA drastically improves. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. It's spreading like wildfire across the internet. Conquering the Markets knows what's up. And if you feel like your TA has drastically improved over the course of the last year and or month, go ahead and smash that like button over here. That makes me a proud papa. Very, very, very happy to hear that. I was tracking this on the 2-hour. That was on the 4-hour. You could see here the trend line break. You see the breakout, the retest, and now we're resuming off. Yeah, if you follow my mouse right over here, you can see that little bit of that was support, then turned resistance. You go back over here. It's light local resistance. I don't pay any mind to that at all. I'm focused in on this. And by the way, now that we've broken out above this over here, that does not mean, and it doesn't mean not, that we're going straight up into price discovery at all. Now, I was saying last week, as we're pulling back down, I think that because of the steepness of this descending wedge over here, of this consolidation, a breakout to the upside could send it very quickly. And I still definitely believe that. God love you, brother. God love. We got one black sheep in here. Lots of love to you, my brother. Lots of love. It'll get better. It'll get better. You got to change your attitude. You got to have this positive growth mindset. You have to believe that you were put here on this earth for a reason, that you could greatly affect other people's lives. You have to start with your own. You have to take responsibility. You have to work on constantly improving yourself and striving to be a better person. If you do that, you're going to see things start lining up. We're here for you. We are here for you. Go ahead, subscribe to this channel. Start spending some time with some like-minded people. And if you don't share that likeness yet, then definitely continue watching and observing and spending more time. And soon enough, you're going to see the light. All right. So here we go. Resuming up. It doesn't mean we're going straight up, and we could come back in for another retest. This breakout could be retested, and then we could have a resume up. But Jordan, you just showed me on the 2-hour that happened already. Yes, it did. No question about that. I'm on the 8-hour over here. Let's see if we get a clean breakout over here. Let's see if this winds up sending this week, or we get another retest. I can't predict the future. I can manage my risk really well, right? What else? Thank you. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. Great morning to you all. What a joy to be surrounded by all of you. What a joy. All right, everyone, what else? There's a lot we want to talk about today. We're just getting warmed up over here. We see equities rising today. That started as Asia opened up. What happened causing the bounce in the equities? Let's just do a really quick review. Last week, everyone's freaking out because of the rising yields, right? Do you remember? So first of all, before everyone started freaking out in the news cycle about the yields, it was right over here. I'm going to say February the 17th. You can go back, look it up on the channel. And I was like, watch what happens to the equity markets here as yields are rising. Calm, cool, and collected. By the way, people took notice. Or Jordan, you're emotional. If you saw my Real Vision comment over the weekend on Twitter, I am emotional about keeping everyone on the right side of the trade, and I always will be. There's no question about that. And if you have people out there, these macro guys out there who are going ahead and sticking to a thesis and getting people really hurt, for sure I'm going to jump in and do my thing. Rest assured. All right, either which way. Over here, I was talking about to you, bringing up the rising yields, how they could possibly affect the market, and us looking at the downside, noticing that we're looking at an 8% correction into the 36.20 support, 10% into 35.46. We had our levels in ahead of time, right? And then that escalated over the course of last week. And then on Friday, as it was really climaxing, I said, we're just into resistance. I'm expecting us to either consolidate or a sharp pullback, snapback, right? It looks like the latter's happening. We're pulling back over here ahead of time. The reason I'm pointing this out is not to be like, look, you know, is to let you know if something happens in the markets that's going to cause any type of concern for the most important trade that matters, which is Bitcoin. And if to you that is Ethereum because of Bitcoin, or if to you that is Cardano because of Bitcoin's bull market fades and alt season, or any other altcoin, or a whole basket of them, right? I'm hyper focused in Bitcoin on Bitcoin and the markets. If something develops, a black swan is developing, rest assured, we're going to notice, we're going to be able to cover ourselves, be positioned, and be aware of it. That's why I bring it up to you. What happened over here this morning, though, what happened over here, and by the way, you had Lynn over the weekend talking about what was going on with the sovereign bond crisis, what was happening in Australia as they're continuing or trying to go ahead and do yield curve control. Why that's important is, and why every central bank and market participant is watching that, is because what happens over in Australia one day is going to be implemented over by the Federal Reserve, the Bank of New York. Okay? So it's really important that as they intervene in the market, they are able to go ahead and actually control that yield curve. On Monday morning, as Asia opened, Australia Bank was losing control of that controlled yield curve, and they went big. They went in big, and then they smashed down yields, and you could see that over here being reflected over here as well right now. And all of a sudden, the equity markets are pumping. So some people out there, I saw a comment. So if one person says it, I assume other. Some people out there were assuming, oh, the equity markets are now bouncing, and Bitcoin's bouncing with them. It had little to do with the equity markets. The equity markets were just bouncing off the fact of what happened over in Australia. You got to put it all together. It's a giant puzzle. That's what we do over here. Hyper-focused on Bitcoin, but it's the markets. All right, look at this over here. Back in October, you said the 2017 peak. Remember looking at that chart and how big 20,000 was? Will look like a small blip next to the 2021 peak. I had a hard time imagining that happening. Just 2 months into 2021, it's already dwarfing the 2021 peak. And we're just getting started because Bitcoin's trading here at $48,000. This is going to be dwarfed. You remember that video? If you were here, remember that video when I was showing you the past market cycles and what's going to happen. What I'm doing is helping prepare you psychologically all the time. Here's a little bit more of perspective. Here's the 2017, 2018, the 2017 bull market run. Someone doesn't understand the 4-year cycle. The 2017 bull run, and here's the 2021 bull run. Look where we're going. By the way, this is not correct. They're marching up these two pullbacks, which we could see over here. We'll talk about that in 1 second. But we are actually a little bit premature in the cycle than we are right now. Look what you should be envisioning in your mind as we start. Remember I kept saying we haven't gone vertical yet? We're not going vertical. When it appeared we went vertical from 20,000 to 40,000. When we start going vertical, that's when I'm going to be making sure I'm checking my chute. That's going to be make sure that I know where the exit is. That's going to be making sure that I'm checking my air pressure. That's going to be I'm going to be hyper aware because it's the most important thing out there. And that's why I'm going to get it right. No, Gino, not at all. I don't follow the stock to flow at all. Zero. I follow the charts, which show how many more months to the next halving. If you want to understand stock to flow, search medium, stock to flow, plan B, and you can read up all about it. I don't follow stock to flow at all. Zero. All right, what else? We got over here the Bitcoin halving chart. This is the roadmap over here. And what I want you to focus in on over here is that this pullback that we just experienced, so far, I think a 26% pullback, right? So the question might be, Jordan, are you going ahead and are you taking the low of this pullback and adding 150% to it to get our area of next target? And I'm not. I'm still sticking with this one over here, the 30% pullback over here, and I have about a $70,000 area to watch as we come into that. As we get closer into it, I'll start pulling up log charts to look at our resistance levels, and I won't be calling for a pullback. I'll be watching for one. because we could blow through that one. We could both and head up towards the 100,000 and be going sharply up into that area over there. We'll watch it as it occurs, prepared for everything. How many more months to the next halving? You could just listen, MJ brother. I don't know. A lot. We just had this halving, a lot. We got a few more years to the next halving. When we're down over here, by the way, in the cycle low, in the bear market low, after the capitulation, 15 months to the next halving, then I'll know there's 15 months to the next halving. But until now, I'm focused on this area over here, and my eyes are over here, making sure that I take full advantage of the bull market phase before I then take full advantage of the bear market phase and rinse and repeat, because the name of the game, right? So a lot of people are like, the name of the game is to hold on to your Bitcoin. For me, the name of the game is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. This is a life-changing moment in the history. We've never seen anything like this occur, and you're involved. Anyway, I don't know what just happened there. Let's keep going over there. This chart, by the way, this could be found on Twitter on Halving Tracker. Just go to Halving Tracker over here. I refer to it often. You're going to see me. This pullback, this is worth just making an observation. It's very important for me. This pullback occurred. No, not even close. Not even close. We looked at that last week. The pi cycle is not even close to a cross. Careful on that. Trader XS, we'll keep watching it. It's not even close, right? So anyway, what I was watching for on the first cycle, we had a pullback around this time over here. And on the second cycle, it was some days afterwards. This one occurred before. Okay, that's the first time that occurred where this current cycle acted before the first and second cycle. I have to make the observation. I have to say it out loud. I have to program that into my subconscious so I'm aware of that happening, because I was actually expecting the pullback to occur a little bit later, after the first cycle and before the second cycle. I was looking right around this area, which would be about 340 days or so after the halving for that pullback, and it occurred before. All right, no big deal. And by the way, super healthy. The comment over the weekend was, is this healthy? Yeah, this is super healthy. You don't want price to go straight up. If price goes straight up, then you're going to be looking for a big crash like over here, and then consolidation for several months. Not a fun thing. I'd rather this cycle resemble much more the second cycle, which is that slow and steady drift up with your pullbacks along the way. That is currently what we're experiencing. This looks super healthy today. All right. What else do we got over here? We don't need to look at that over there. We already looked at that. This was beautiful. I love, by the way, Conquering the Markets. I love everyone. This is from the Discord. Elias and all moderators, by the way, thank you so much for the incredible work that you are doing. I am so grateful for you helping make this community so special. Thank you for all your hard work. I think we got them over the weekend. The Conquer Trading and Investing Impersonators. I didn't see them. We have other ones, but thank you. This is a chart shared over here on the 10-year. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it a little bit closer. Really important. I was focused, just so we're all on the same page. That's what we do, is keep everyone on the same page and on the right side of the market. I was focused on this chart. I continue to focus on this chart. This is my 8-hour. I showed you last week as Giles was watching, as Gene was watching the weekly on Ethereum. I was watching the same thing happen on the 8-hour. It's what I do. It's where I hang out, right? Thank you, Kenneth. All right. So anyway, look over here at the same exact time on this chart over here. You could see that resistance we came into. This is, by the way, clone trend lines over here, Conquering the Markets all day long on the 10-year. Some beautiful chart work over here. A pleasure to share this with you. I love how everyone's TA just keeps improving. And then we have this awesome feedback loop where we share it with each other. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's something to get excited about. When you see your kid accomplish, when you see your kid, your children accomplish something, a milestone, you take more joy in it than if it were your own. That's the truth. And by the way, each and every one of your personal successes are extremely important to me. That's the truth. All right. Anyway, you could see the rejection by that resistance over here right now. Why I'm bringing up this chart, because if we were ever at any point to break this outer resistance trend line over here, which is right now coming in somewhere, I'm going to say around, it's hard for me to read, but I would say like $2.80. That would be alarming. 2.8%, 2.8%, that would be alarming. A breakout over here, then they've lost control. All right, we're far from that. We just moved into some resistance. Looks like we're being rejected right now by it. We'll continue to monitor it. But obviously what's going to happen, and what was so important, what happened in Australia last week and over the weekend, is that the central banks are not going to let yields get out of control. They can't, or they lose control of the system. Now, fast forward to 2023, we'll see what happens. They're going to purposely lose control of the system so that they could implement their new digital dollar system. But we're still a couple of years away from that. All right, so where else does that bring us? Where else does that bring us? Let me go ahead and clean up over here. By the way, Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, arguing for the past year about Bitcoin, right? Now took a 3% position, 3% position between Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? The volatility sickens me. I can't stand volatility to the upside. I can't stand when I see my portfolio rising at such a drastic rate. Why? Anyway, so people are late. He's very late. He's here on time. And if you're just here right now, listen, you're early. Kevin's not early. Kevin's late. Why would I say you're early? Because you're here on Conquering the Markets. And your clarity is going to be something that Kevin will never, ever understand or have. He will never have it. Get on him for taking a 3% position. He's covered. But why? If you understood Bitcoin, why would you take a 3% position? That means that I don't understand Bitcoin, but I see something happening around me. Good. I'm glad that you were adaptable enough to get a position. But clearly, if you're weighted right now, and he's probably weighted something like 50, 70% into stocks and 3% into Bitcoin, he doesn't understand markets and he doesn't understand Bitcoin. Whatever. Big shout out to Kevin. Over here, what do we got? Oh, this guy is awful. He's referring to me. This guy is awful confident in the market that looks to be the biggest crash on earth. The markets are not crashing, right? Everyone's always looking for that market crash. I don't see it. The markets are crashing. When the markets were crashing, I was all over that. And it was fun. What a time that was over here. But the markets are not crashing, right? Am I overly confident or awful confident? With good reason. I've shown I'm on the right side of the market no matter what's going on. Through a crisis, through the recovery, through every possible scenario that we experienced all together in a matter of a year and a half, all over it. Of course I'm confident. That's what I do. If you don't have confidence, we'll look at this at the end of the session. This was from Max Kaiser's and Stacy's Orange Pill podcast. This is someone on OKEX, and they're talking about all the different altcoins that they are currently watching. That is something that those that are involved in altcoins will be interested in hearing, but we could do that at the end of the show over here today. Let's continue over here. Let's start looking at the charts. Boom, 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 boom. What's that? Jordan, what are your thoughts on the reality of a tax on unrealized gains that Yellen could the U.S. Treasury Secretary could implement tax on unrealized gains? I don't think so. That doesn't sound right to me. I don't know. That's up for the lawmakers to do. We'll see what happens, right? I don't think that was Yellen talking about that. Will they start taxing unrealized gains? Maybe. They're going to get crazy. That's not happening today. The first thing that they will try to do would be to raise capital gains tax. If they could raise capital gains tax, if they can. I don't know that they can. And they're talking like 40%. Okay, shots fired from their end. We'll see what happens going forward. But they are far from, California, they might be first to if they haven't started already. I think they have a 0.5% tax now on unrealized gains. Maybe. I'm not sure about that. But you'll see ideas floating around. We're far from that happening. We're very far from that happening if they're going to try to do that or if they will. But as they continue to go ahead and print away our future and our children's future, they're going to be there. Why don't they just print the money to pay the taxes? Why do they collect taxes from us then? If you're going to go down that rabbit hole, I was going to say, I just said rabbit hole. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. What is a rabbit hole, right? I was watching this podcast yesterday over here as I was cleaning up my office, And, they're telling us the New York Times is that people should not go down rabbit hole. Let's listen to this. Let me listen to this here with you for 30 seconds, and then we'll focus in on the charts.
The orthodoxy right now, the elite mainstream media, New York Times has published a piece this week, an opinion piece called "Do Not Go Down the Rabbit Hole." So here with Renaissance 2.0, that is our entire belief, is that we should all go down the rabbit hole. We should all aim to be polymaths. We should all aim to know as much as possible and do it for ourselves, not look for the orthodoxy to tell us what to think, to be willing to accept opinions that are heterodox thinking, that are not like traditional thinking.
There be dragons.
So I don't know about you. I don't know where you are educated. I sincerely don't, but I'm always looking to learn to think for myself. No, why would the New York Times? Anyway, either which way, words are very scary, that's for sure. Right? Let's keep going over here. Yeah, we got to keep it clean in here. That's what we do. My kids are going to be watching this one day so they could get an education about the markets. It's going to be required that they watch Conquering the Markets and understand the markets. They're going to have to invest their time and understand what's going on. Right? So keep it clean over here. All right. Let's keep going. Yeah. I said it's going to get crazy. This is not even close to crazy. This is not even close to crazy, but we will get there. All right. Bitcoin at the highs of the session this morning. That's beautiful. Markets, we're seeing definitely risk on here this morning. You can see that happening over here in the Australian dollar, rebounding over here off of its, this was, again, that problem was in Australia. And you can see over here that massive, massive spike down over here. Found some support and now resuming off there. We'll continue to monitor that. Euro US dollar showing a pretty nice setup over here. Focus on this. We had drawn in over here this pattern right here. Remember last week, this was on Friday, and I drew in that trend line to you. And then you can see over here, we've broken down, came in for that retest, and resumed down during London, conquering the markets all day long. Now, beautiful if, because I'm going to fast forward, follow my thinking, over to the DXY, the US dollar index, which currently right now is just trading sideways, right? It's trading within this area over here, consolidating over here, right? Now, Euro US dollar, you could see it technically breaking down, giving a signal. That's a trade you could go after, but understand a couple of things could happen as we're trading sideways over here. We could just continue trading sideways. That trade's going to go nowhere, right? If we break out above that trend line resistance over there, we're going to start seeing some dollar appreciation. It's still a far way to go. We're in no man's land right now. Resistance, support, we're in the dead middle right over here right now. No big deal. Euro US dollar, what does that all mean? Let me clean up this chart as we get going. Euro US dollar, it's a bit of a warning sign. It's a bit of a warning sign. I'm trying to find the Euro US dollar. Here we go. It's a bit of a warning sign if this trade were to fail and get stopped out. By the way, you would have to use a tight stop loss in this situation. I don't care if you're on this trade or not. A market's a market. This is like essential training right over here. You have to understand what's going on. And then you could take this and use it in any market. Okay? So what in this particular case, being that the DXY is in a strong downtrend and neutral, right? You have to say, I have to use a tight stop loss. If we take out that stop loss and get back into this pattern, I want to be out of the trade. There's no question about it. And if that happens and you get back into this and a breakout to the upside, at that point, that could be fire. That could be fire if that were to happen. Nevertheless, if you're taking the trade, you're taking it because what you see on the chart right now is showing a sell signal, a breakdown to the downside, a breakdown of that trend line over there, retest, and then a resumption off. High probability trade right there. Jordan, listening to you has inspired me to invest my family's future with Bitcoin and get serious about my credit score. You're changing lives. You have no idea how much it means to me when anyone shares what's going on in their life with me or how this channel has affected them. I'm absolutely grateful for that. That's I feed off of it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sean, for listening, for learning, putting in the work, and continuing to do your research and and education. Thank you. Jordan, that's not for here right now, my brother. Maybe on a Friday session if we were really going down some holes or something like that. It's just not right now what we're doing. Right. Peter, absolutely. Thank you. May God bless you, my brother. Thanks for being here. Let me continue to see what's going on over here and paint the picture. I want to take a look at gold and silver, right? Let me come back to the 8-hour time frame, zoom out. What happened over here? Look what do you remember on Friday session as I drew that before we broke down over here? I said, I think I'm looking for a capitulation right over here, and I drew this like that. If you didn't see it, go watch it. That's what happened since we had that spike down over here. Is that the capitulation? If we get back up and recover above that trend line over there, that could be the time. But does it make sense? Does it make sense to get involved until you break out? I don't know. Just watching gold, it's not the trade that I want to be invested in at all right now for good reasons. Silver is. Silver holding by a breath. Look at these two wicks. The 26 support over here. Bounced off there. Let's see what happens. Nothing's out of the woods yet. But what I am looking at bigger picture is this consolidation, the breakout, the retest, the resumption off, right? Looks super bullish, way more bullish than gold to me. Not that gold doesn't look bullish, or not that gold is not going to have its time to shine, or not that at the cycle peak of Bitcoin, I won't be exiting to gold and not silver. But right now we're expecting silver to definitely outperform gold, and it looks a lot more bullish over here. All right. Yeah, monthly candles. I don't know, Rob. Right now, so weekly candles in these bull markets. This is Heath, right? Heath weekly red candles. That's like buy, right? Buy, right? Anyway, don't focus on the I don't have it over here, the halving tracker. Focus on the bigger picture. Understand where you are in that bull market cycle in alt season, midway, right? Ethereum, do you think is there anyone here that doesn't think Ethereum is going to be trading that higher than it is right now? 3 or 6 months from now, go ahead and smash the dislike button. If there's anyone here who thinks Ethereum is going to be trading lower than $1,500 in the near future, I sincerely don't think so. I think it's going to be trading way higher. So that's my opinion, though. But I understand why. Not one person did. That's interesting. I thought some people would think so. Not one did. There we go. We got 4 people who think that. I would love to place the bet. I wish there was a platform, and if anyone here's a developer and can do this, if anyone could develop a platform where I could bet someone X amount of Bitcoin, however much you want, that Ethereum will be trading higher 3 months from now, and that money goes into escrow, right? So neither one of us control it. It goes into an escrow account, and then it automatically, depending on what the price is, pays the winner. I will take that bet from all 5 of you who hit that down. And I don't care how much Bitcoin you want to bet. I'll take the bet all day long. But I wish there was a platform like that. I really do. I was thinking about that over the weekend. All right. What else? Thank you, Christian. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not even, Anyway, I root for Ethereum. Of course I root for Ethereum. I root for innovation. We got a lot of speculators out there betting against Kathy from ARK Investments. I bet on innovation. I'm looking for that. All right, what else are we looking at here this morning, fam? Well, how long? 1,000 likes, and we've only been on here for 38 minutes. That's pretty good. Yeah, smart contract, that would be better. But same difference. No, isn't the smart contract the escrow? I think it's the same difference. Right? Boom, 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 boom. All right. I think we've covered a lot. I think we have that situational awareness of everything that's going around us. Let me take a moment here as we're on autopilot. Can you imagine being on autopilot during this bull market phase over here? You got people left and right because of these YouTubers that are like, every time price does something, they're like, Bitcoin's going to 0. Bitcoin's going to 1,000,000. I have no idea what Bitcoin is doing. I'm just using all caps and exclamation points. And people follow these people and they're really confused, and they're losing a lot of money because their time preference is all out of whack. One of the first things I do when someone signs up for the course, for the training program, they don't get the access to the Discord group and everything else right away. That is sent to them 2 hours afterwards. And then a day later, you get the first instructions on best practices. And then 2 days later is what you need to do. Why? Because it's all about time preference. I'm trying from the get-go to rearrange your whole mentality and time preference so that you can maneuver and trade the market successfully. It's not I want to know right now, how does it happen? It's what I need to do in order that I could also be a successful trader. There are very far and few between successful traders out there. Here in this group, there are people changing lives. Last week, someone said, now I have enough money to pay off my mortgage. That's insane. That's beautiful, right? Everyone has different objectives. Some people's objectives might be preparing themselves right now with a fraction of a Bitcoin, adjusting where they could and picking up where they could to make the most out of this Bitcoin bull market phase, setting themselves up for the next cycle so that it'll become life-changing for them. But fast forward 4 years from now, it's going to be life-changing for them, and someone else out there doing whatever, 4 years is going to pass like this, and they're going to be in the same situation that they were today. The amount of things you could accomplish in 10 years is absolutely phenomenal. But you have to be focused on taking steps today that are planting those seeds, which are going to be blooming later. Either which way, I want to look at this over here. Let's look at the altcoins and see if these are any projects you're following. And notice the one that's not mentioned. See if you could pick up on the one project that's not mentioned over here. So anyone interested in alts, this is for you. Oh, it's right over here.
Lightning. I think our team is actually working very hard on that. It's going to come out very soon, the launch of it. We're supporting the second layer smart contract protocol like stacks built on Bitcoin, the DeFi to be built on Bitcoin.
By the way, before we go any further, do notice though as we get into the most exciting things going on. This is from OKEX is one of the biggest exchange worldwide. A lot of volume. They're saying that Lightning Network and then Stack on top of both things on top of Bitcoin. I'm not going to get into that now, but then now let's talk about the alts.
And we are supporting some of the other Bitcoin related initiatives, but at the same time, we are also very excited to see other protocols coming up, like Avalanche, like Link, like that kind of cover that interoperability, like Dot. Algorand, right? In addition to Ethereum. So I think in that verdict has yet to be delivered. I think it's very much still experimental phase.
Oh, no. Oh, you guys missed my rant. Oh, he's missing the rant. Sorry about that. Off my game this morning. Do apologize for that. I don't know where where you lost me, so I'm going to go ahead and continue. Whoa, we got them flying, right? Don't worry. You have every right to be heard. If it's that important to you, let them fly, right? My brother, it's okay. So I don't know where you lost me. I'm just going to go ahead and just reverse a little bit. Did you hear me talking about Cardano, by the way? Did anyone hear me talking about Cardano and why I believe that it was not included on that list? Just let me know yes or no so that I know where to pick up from. No, perfect. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. I do appreciate it. So listen, it's important to understand that OKEX is a Chinese exchange. They have since left China over these past couple of months. If you remember, recently China froze all withdrawals from that exchange. Every day on Twitter, they were out on Twitter saying, listen, the funds are safe. We're not able to process withdrawals. As soon as we can, we will. The Chinese government was doing whatever the Chinese government was doing. I believe they confiscated a whole bunch of Bitcoin from a malicious actor. Chinese government now holds that Bitcoin, but the exchange said we have to leave China. You know, we're going to go not where they stifle innovation, but where they let innovation flourish. And that's Bitcoin in itself. If that were to happen to Bitcoin, where one government was say, okay, we banned Bitcoin, all of that talent, all of that giant, enormous resource of talent is going to leave and go where they're welcomed. I think it's important to understand the reason Cardano was not mentioned, not because it doesn't belong up there with those other projects. I think it does. I think it's important to understand there is a bit of friction between Chinese and Japanese people, right? As a culture overall. And this is a Chinese exchange, Chinese people. Cardano happens to be held mostly by the Japanese, right? The Japanese, and then you got some Western speculators. But that's the case. I think that's why it wasn't included. Whether that's right or wrong, I believe it should have been included. But also most interesting to see that the two most projects that they're interested in was the Lightning Network built on top of Bitcoin, and then Stacks also built on top of Bitcoin. That's the Bitcoin smart contracts. Interesting. And just to say it again, anything that could be built on an altcoin, which is the testnet for Bitcoin, could eventually be built on top of a second layer or third layer of Bitcoin. Either which way, Western speculators. Oh, all right, everyone. What is going on? I don't, Bitcoin's decentralized, right? Is Cardano all of a sudden decentralized now on the mainnet? That doesn't even matter. That's neither here nor there. We know Ethereum's not decentralized. We're going to run back the chain, right? That's why we have Ethereum Classic and Ethereum. Nevertheless, like, these things are highly speculative innovation, and they haven't yet got to their final self or where they wish to be, right? So give them time, let them continue to develop, let them continue to grow, and we'll see this beautiful garden, what's here. 4 years from now, I told you, I'll be able to look at the DeFi space and have a much better idea about who is going to be here for the next 10 years. I can't right now. It's just like you're looking at little seedlings. They're just starting to go to, it's too early. All right. What else? Bitcoin. Let me answer the question right now. By the way, if you're just joining us for the first time ever, Bitcoin is at $48,000 and you're thinking, did I miss it? First of all, it's still early in this Bitcoin bull run. I'm going to be saying that, April, May, June, July. For the next 4 months, I'm going to be saying it's really early. And then all of a sudden, you're going to start seeing, for the next few months after that, Bitcoin starting to go vertical. You're still really early. You have a lot of time to take advantage of this current run. Is $48,000 Bitcoin cheap? I said earlier in the video, I believe that we're currently trading during the coming bear market low. It's cheap in that respect to me. Michael Saylor just buying how many more Bitcoin? For he thought $45,000 Bitcoin was cheap. He owns a few $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, $4 billion, invested $2 billion of Bitcoin. Square out there buying $170 million of Bitcoin. You know, yeah, Bitcoin is cheap. You're still early. Is there any resistance to be looking? We're not looking for resistance above us right now, right? What we're looking at over here is the last all-time high. Above that, we're back into price discovery. The question is right now, and you never know ahead of time. You could only right now. Do I feel, let's say, more calm than I did over the weekend than on Friday? Yeah, because we've broken outside the trend line over there. We started the run. That's the first sign over there that we're resuming out. Now, it could be a false break, and we could come back down. And if that happens, be prepared and be ready. Okay? What does that look like? Here's a false break on the S&P 500. It broke out, and then boom, smacked down. Look at it on the Nasdaq, right? S&P is a better example. But it broke out over here and came back down. That could happen on Bitcoin. Like, you're not out of the woods yet. And once we break to new all-time highs coming out of this second pullback, one pullback, two pullback, I think that you're out of the woods, and I think that we're really going to fly. How long it is before we get there, that I have no idea. The other thing that could happen is that we have now a quick move out there because of the steepness of this decline. I was saying that to you last week. When we do break out and resume up, it could be a quick move up. And then we also have the other awareness that in past pullbacks, second cycle, that generally they lasted anywhere from 30 to 60 days. This one so far, and has not yet been a 30% pullback, it might be a 30% pullback before this is over, right? This has been going on for about a week so far. So there you are, and that's where we are. But more importantly, we're at trading, Bitcoin's trading at $48,000. You remember back when Bitcoin took out 38,000 out of the last pullback? Here's the trend line. Here's a false break. Came back down though, and then it held that support and came back up. As we came into $38,000, Bitcoin's trading at $38,000. Anything above this, it has to be just gravy for you. You have to understand that. So, but Jordan, it was just trading at $58,000. So what? It's going to fluctuate on the way. You can't have price so volatile to the upside without any price fluctuations. It's not how markets work. And this whole time, as it's doing what it's doing, you have to have those, I forgot what it's called, stronger than diamond hands, but you have to have that awareness of what's happening so you don't get shaken out of your position. Because as CZ mentioned, as you're selling your Bitcoin at $45,000, hoping maybe you could pick it up again at 40 or 38,000, someone's out there buying that Bitcoin from you. And the hands that are buying it become stronger and stronger. Michael Saylor is not selling that Bitcoin. In this week's training video, which I think is going to be on Friday, I loved this past Friday's training session on the Friday. That was absolutely, absolutely extraordinary. I think that was our best training session to date, which says a lot, because I think we said that when we did Bitcoin Lightly Leveraged. I think I said that when we then did pushing trades. And I think I said that when I did the week after my exit plans for Bitcoin. I did 3 ways to trade the Bitcoin bull market. In that training session was 3 ways to exit Bitcoin, what I'm exiting into and how and why, right? And then we just did last week, one of the most important events upcoming on Bitcoin that's going to occur and when it's going to occur, right? And all of this, putting it together, it just puts us where we need to be. All right, what else, fam? What else is going on over here? I'm catching up on a couple of comments to see what you're doing. Thank you, guys. I loved it. I think this training session is actually this week's training session, and I think it's going to be on Friday because I love that Friday training. Anyway, I think it's going to be, again, focusing on exiting Bitcoin, building off the 3-way, my exit plans, the 3 strategies, and adding focusing in on another one for those interesting and actually holding their Bitcoin and how they could go ahead and hold on to their Bitcoin and still take advantage of all the moves that we know that are going to be incoming from that. So that's what I'm going to be focused in on with you all this week. Yeah. Let's take a look at what happened to the US dollar, Japanese yen, as we're seeing right now this Friday. Well, look at this. Dave, I'm not focused on what you're focused in on because it's hard for me right now to do that as we're live over here. Let me take a screenshot. I'll come back in that. We'll look at that later together. But what I'm focused in on, right, we were tracking this as we finally broke out. Remember, we were in no man's land over here, broke out to the upside. I didn't participate at all. So I'm just following what happened afterwards. I didn't participate on this breakout. I didn't take this trade. We had the setup that has no name. All right, so breakout, retest, resumption off, and now we're into some strong resistance over here. Some pretty strong resistance over here. I don't know. You know, I don't know. You hear the tone of the cadence of my voice? Do you hear the pause, the uncertainty? I'm able to pick up on that really quick, and I'm really trying to focus, or I focus in on trades and markets where I have that certainty. Someone's like, "Oh, you're overconfident," or awfully confident. They said, "Well, I hear right now that I'm not awfully confident, and when I'm not awfully confident, I just automatically keep moving, move along." There's so much opportunity to take a look at that I'm not going to focus at where I don't know, but I will make the observation that right now, as we're seeing yields come off a little bit, or just getting started, I know that the DXY is strong today, that the dollar's in no man's land, but it's toward the top half of no man's land, targeting perhaps that trend line channel resistance. So the dollar can continue going over here. Japanese yen continues to be weak. So clearly we're seeing a stronger, in this moment, dollar play out than the yen. But we're into resistance now. I would be taking profit over here if I were in this trade. And why I would be taking profit is because we're seeing those yields drop as we come into that resistance. If we clear above it, by the way, and just notice where my mouse is over here, you could see that little bit of light resistance over there, 107, the whole number. If we break above it, I would look for a move into 107, and then I would look for a retest back towards this level. If we flip that into support and then resume off that, that might be a better entry. But right now, I would actually be taking a good deal of profit off here, getting neutral. This trade has played out well, and now we're into some pretty strong resistance. So there it is. I don't know what we're talking about there, James. I'm not on sync with you. I'm not on sync with you. All right, not too much going on over there. So lots of weirdness going on over here. When I say weirdness, I'm talking about things like this. This is weirdness. Like Elliot Collins with the weirdness. Brother, what is, first of all, you're talking in all caps. That means you're shouting. Why are you shouting? Second of all, you're talking nonsense. You're talking absolute nonsense. Right now you have this opportunity, a life-changing opportunity, and you're focused in on nonsense and you're screaming about it. I mean, like, you're going to walk away from this bull market phase and you're going to be nowhere, right? You have to change your, anyway, that's a lot of nonsense over there today. But he's gone. Let me go ahead and, I don't have time for that nonsense. We gotta take it out. You're not down in that shot, but you're shouting. Brad, what's going on, brother? All right, everyone. I think we're on autopilot. I want to stick around because I'm in no rush to get away from you all. I enjoy spending all this time with you. I want to see if there's anything that we missed today in this session that we want to focus in on. So I'm going to go ahead and just really quick defer to the comments, see what's going on, see if there's any other questions that we have that are important that we need to focus in on, and then we'll look at that. And if not, we're going to say that was a fire session. No, I'm not going to ignore. I'm going to gone. Thank you for that. Because I don't have time for that. I genuinely don't have time for that. Yeah, this is a great question. I'm glad I did that. So the question is, this is like someone dialed in to what's going on over here. And most of us are. A lot of us are. Jordan, do you think higher rates will affect the strength of the bull market for the next cycle in comparison to this cycle? Oh, all right. Wait, a couple of things here. So let's answer this question in two different ways. To do that, first of all, I do want to pull up the halving tracker. as I speak about the cycles with you, because I'm a visual guy. I'm able to kind of put things together visually. So we're talking about the next cycle, and assuming that the Fed is expected to raise rates starting in, I think it's 2023, late 2023, 2024, right? So in 2023, probably what happened, the Fed will start raising rates in order to purposely break the system and cause a crisis so that they could come ahead and introduce the digital dollar, right? And by the way, that's not like I said that back in March. I said that early April, back into March when the Fed acted. I said, all right, everyone was looking for like, we're going to take out the low. But I said, well, we're not having another crisis. We just had a crisis. The Fed acted. The next crisis will probably be some time from now. In 2023, they're looking to introduce the digital dollar. Watch what happens. So will they raise rates going into the next cycle, right? Because 2024 is 2021, 2025 is the next bull market phase. Are we going to be looking at the Fed tightening? We have no idea about that. So I'm going to focus back on this cycle and talk about that really quick. And we have no idea because the market, as you see these rates rising, we expect the Fed would have to go ahead. If they were to break above this current resistance, they would have to come ahead. And as we saw in Australia, do yield curve control, right? To cap those rates. So the Fed's not going to be forced to raise rates by the market. Like if the market tries to force the Fed to raise rates, the Fed's going to come in there and smack that down. So I don't expect that the rates are going to be rising. Do I think by 2023 the Fed will be able to start raising rates? And if we're looking at a tightening cycle, what will happen in 2025? Yeah, over here you're looking at easy QE happening and you're looking at the trajectory of the bull market is much steeper. Over here they started tightening towards the end of this cycle over here. It wasn't QE happening. It was still a massive 19x from the halving, by the way. Pretty good under not easy monetary conditions, right? And then in this cycle, we don't know what it's going to be, but so far it continues to look like it's somewhere below the 39x and above the 19x, right? So by the way, a 30x on Bitcoin from 19,500, a 30x if we were to have a 30x, what does that put us at? Is I don't know if that's 333,000 a Bitcoin or 433,000. I think it's 433,000. Let me check with you really quick. 19,500 times 30 is $585,000. I'm not trying to talk about any numbers like that, but rest assured, if Bitcoin trades up that high, I'm going to be exiting the peak. All right. And above 38,000, that's the old gravy. I don't know. It's impossible to say what next cycle will look like, but if the Fed was tightening, I would be expecting decreasing returns for that cycle. All right. That's something, this is really important that we could focus in on. And because everything is all about the central banks, this is not an everything bubble. It's a central bank bubble, right? So depending on what the central bank's monetary conditions are, yeah, that's going to affect the bull market. But even under tightening conditions over here, or not easy conditions, tightening at the end, it was a massive run. So great question. That's the stuff I like to talk about. Thank you for that. No, I don't want to come down to a lower time frame on Bitcoin only because that's going to mess up your time preference. You're going to get shaken out. Like if you come down to the 2 hour, and occasionally you'll see me looking at the 2 hour, and that's anyway, I don't want to confuse you. There's no reason to be looking at a 2 hour time frame of Bitcoin or lower because it's gonna the price fluctuations are gonna whipsaw you around. The 8 hours is pretty small, right? Maybe for riding the bull, you want to be on the 3-day, right? Maybe you want to be on the daily, right? I could, my eyes are trained for the 8 hour, so I focus in on the 8 hour. But you want to actually use a higher time preference, not a lower time preference. Okay, so there's no need to get caught up in those little fluctuations. Very important. Very important. Yeah, Ethereum, Bitcoin. Let's check it out over here. Garcia asking, looks like after breaking out, trendline is retesting a lower low. So, all right, here's what I see happening on Ethereum, Bitcoin. This is the big break over here. Finally, when we broke above this trend line over there, right? We saw the breakout, the retest, the resumption up, right? We looked at adding over here. We called out as this was happening. and then an add over here. We've since taken that all out. I didn't expect us to come all the way back down to this support line over here. Notice that also look over here. Look at this trend line I have over here. It's important support, right? And then when that broke, that became resistance right there. And notice that we're into this line right over here. So when I was saying to you that right now I think we're going to see Ethereum leading Bitcoin, this is why. Because Ethereum Bitcoin has pulled back into this area right over here where there's massively strong support. It's horizontal support from the breakout over here, the low right over there on the retest, and then you have this trend line low over there. It's strong support. And then if you let me clean up this chart a little, and then if anyone can follow me, give me a like, a smash the like button on that one, you know. But what I'm looking at over here is this pullback consolidation, getting ready for the breakout. Right, it hasn't broken yet, and if it breaks out, that's when we will see Ethereum leading Bitcoin. Right now, they're neck and neck, right? Ethereum slightly outperforming Bitcoin today, but they're neck and neck, right? Does that mean this is going to happen? No, right? If you get the breakout, it's going to happen. We haven't gotten the breakout yet. So still some uncertainty there. And just so you know, your resistance, and then over here, you're sitting on really strong support, right? So that's how I see it and why I see it. So I'm so glad that was so much fun. That was thank you for that. I'm going to watch that session again. And I'm also going to watch my session on exiting my exiting Bitcoin plans again this week, preparing for this Friday session. So thank you. And if you know I'm going to watch it again, you know it's a good session. Yeah, that's awesome, Timmy. Reza, I don't know what it is. XTZ. Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is it's all season. You just got to dial in and figure out which projects have the most going on, the most activity, the most adoption or increasing adoption, the most network effects. That's what you want to focus in on. There are so many good projects out there, and there's so much money to be made across the board. Aave looking solid. Here's Aave versus Bitcoin. You can see the breakout, right? And now it's resuming up, making a higher high, a swing high. It looks absolutely good. Absolutely, no question about that. It looks really good. Yeah, I'm not sure why people want to look at the pi cycle. So, like, I'm not sure why people want it has to be done on the daily. Like, we're not even close to a cross on the pi cycle. Like, rest assured, as we get close, I'll be looking at it with you. But we're not even close. Last week, I think in the video, look for a title, Pi Cycle. And you could watch my presentation showing to you why we're not yet close. I went to look into Bitcoin.com, showed you over there, showed you over here. So in this moment, I'm either going to say, go back to the channel and look for a video last week with Pi Cycle in the headline. And that you're going to have to trust me on this. We're not even remotely close. And rest assured, as we are, we'll be all over it. But that's the second time that came up today. So yeah, the Money Masters. People loving it. The Money Masters. It's an absolute, it should be required listening for those that are on this channel. Because if you're going to understand what's going on, you have to start there. And then the one after that is Money is Debt. I saw that this morning. There's a revised version that was uploaded, I think like 5 years ago. So it's not the one that I saw. It was a newer version of it. I'm sure it's the same content, but it really important to understand not only what is money, how it's created, but who controls it. If you don't understand, and they don't teach that in school. They don't teach any of that in school. Why do they not teach that in school? That's weird, don't you think? There's a good reason for it. Yeah, that was awesome. This Friday was awesome. I try to be flexible, never tie myself in. Let's take a look at the Australian dollar, US dollar, as we're seeing a bounce in the Australian dollar. That strong US dollar. And look how that held. Look at this trend line that's holding over here. This is on the daily chart over there, right? By the way, that took out some stop losses. That should have took out your stop loss over there, locking in profit. Assuming your stop loss was taken out over here, right? 40% of the trade, the rest of the trade now stopped out at break even, right? It means you're neutral right now. What do you do next? Now you wait. Not only are you neutral, price is neutral below this resistance and above the support in no man's land over here. Okay? In no man's land in this whole area, a test back above against the support over there. That's a, you know, if price comes back down, that's a place to look to take another position. Or above here, that opens up another place to now re-enter a position. But right now, and as the DXY is also neutral, you're neutral, stopped out of the trade. You got 40% profit on the 60% left over. Still a nice little trade, and that's that. Stefano, thank you for all the work you do over here, Stefano. Thank you for the selfless work that you do to make this community run so much smoother, so much special. George, Pure Life Vita, everybody. Thank you so much, Elias, for helping out and joining the crew. And Stefano, you know what's up. You don't worry. You know, you give first and only warning. We don't have time. We got to keep going and doing what we're doing over here. But thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, Robin, watch the videos. You have to watch the videos. You know, there are multiple stable coins. You know, do you trust Tether? Do you not? Why not? Have you believed the FUD? Right? Is USDC the Facebook of stable coins, the one that you know is the most monitored, the one that you want to exit into? You feel safe? Maybe. What about the Winklevoss brothers? What about Gemini US stablecoin? I feel good about the Winklevoss brothers. They're stand up, in my opinion. You know, there's lots of always spread out your risk. I don't think anything about that, about Dogecoin at all, right? I'm here to systematically make money, not speculate. And it's just speculation, you know? Is there any value in, no, anyway, it's just speculation. I'm not, you notice when everyone got like on the Wall Street bets train that it ended, that's not what we're doing here. We're changing lives here. We're building wealth here for future generations. I don't have time to play games in the markets. I have to very, very, let's say, methodically and thoughtfully take positions in the market that are strong with the highest degree of potential, with the most risk adverse, right? And there's nothing risk averse about getting involved in Dogecoin, in my opinion. Right. This is something we've yes. Right. This is what we're talking about with these uber easy. This is great, right? The US Treasury is set to spend. We've been on signal about this for a long time, and then updating just a couple of weeks ago about it. But by June, $1.1 trillion. That's a massive amount of money. A massive amount of money, right? And most importantly, that's uber easy monetary conditions over here as we continue on this third cycle over here, right? Very early on, nope, we're not seeing decreasing returns, and we're not seeing a lengthening cycle. This cycle in this uber easy conditions expected to be more powerful and shorter than the previous, and not as much as the first, right? But that's good. We looked at the Australian dollar, US dollar. Commodities, boring. Sorry, I got caught up in that. There's the bell. There's the bell. Everyone, I gotta go. I have an appointment with my 3-year-old. I really do, and it's very important. Actually, the most important thing to me. Everyone, I hope you have a beautiful day. Thumbs down again for that. That's so funny. That's the second time last time that happened. It's happened 2 times in our life. We've been live streaming since last October 2019. Twice. I only missed 1 session. Do you remember that? Twice I've said, "Oh, listen, we've been on over here for an hour. Got to go take care of the little one." And we got a thumbs down from that. This is family first. There's not another place you can be to achieve anything you want to achieve than here with the Conquering the Markets group. There's not another trader online on the whole internet in 2020 who has been as precise across all markets. There's no question. But if you don't have time for family first, then you don't. This is not the place for you. I'll see you later. Have a nice life. But this place is all about the beauty of life. And that's what we're doing here. We're working hard to create a life for the future as these central bankers are destroying the future for our children and our children's children. Everyone, we looked at the metals. We looked at gold and silver earlier in the day. We'll look at them again tomorrow. Nothing too exciting going on. Maybe later we'll have an afternoon update. We will have an afternoon update today, everyone. I'll be putting out an afternoon update focused on across the markets. Gold, silver. We'll take a look at Bitcoin and maybe even a basket of alts over here right now. We'll be taking a look at also some of the equity markets, the DXY, if anything exciting is appearing on FX. But for right now, thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for smashing the like button. Thank you for being such an important part of my life. Have a beautiful day, everyone. And I'll talk to you soon. We'll take a look at this tomorrow. Screenshot that for tomorrow. London calling. London, thank you so much. Thank you for being such a special part of this home. I didn't mention this. Daniel, I didn't mention the 1.9 stimulus package now being sent to the Senate. All right? That's a great question you brought up over here. This is something for us to talk about. Maybe this afternoon. I don't know. I don't know that we peak in December. I don't know that we peak on December 21st. I know that that's one of my let's say my guidelines to be ready. I'm going to be watching price, and price is going to let me know when we peak. That could be September. That could be October. It could be November. Or it could be December again. I have no idea, but I'll know when it's happening. Right, thank you so much to all the moderators. What? Keith. Thank you. Yeah, this is the comment I need to focus on right over here. This is the comment I need to focus in on right over here. Yeah, out of the flow today a little bit. The first 38 minutes of the session were absolute fire. We got all that we needed to, and that was the most important thing. Then over there, you know what? It's a Monday. Tuesday, we're going to crush it. This afternoon, we're going to crush it. We're always crushing it. Everyone, thank you. I'll talk to you later.